Welcome back to the webcast, All Sports One Web, the weekly sports podcast where we are talking about all different kinds of sports. Today, we are talking about the group stage draw from the Champions League, recapping Week 5 of the Premier League, which is still going on, one more game tomorrow, and predicting Week 6. I'm Adam, that's Doug. Let's go! All right, we missed you on Monday, Doug. I did my first solo cast where we predicted Week 5 of the Premier League, and it's going on right now. We got yesterday's games, today's games, and United take on Leicester to finish up Week 5, but we will get to recapping those games later, as well as doing our predictions and picks for Week 6 coming up. We did better today in the picks. We went 4 for 4 today, so that's always good, but we'll see how we can do this weekend, and we will be doing all that on ESPN EPL Pick'em 2022. So go ahead and get your account ready if you haven't done so already, and pick along with us as we go throughout the season, and we'll see how we both do at the end of the season. But I do need to start off with the Champions League draw, which was actually last Thursday. I do stand corrected as well when I said Tottenham was in pot 3. They were in pot 2, rightfully so, with their coefficient and the final that they reached only a couple years ago. But they were drawn into Group D with Frankfurt, Sporting Lisbon, and Marseille. Who knows? Ronaldo could be joining Sporting Lisbon by tomorrow. The deadline for the transfer market ends tomorrow, September 1st. So we'll see how much more business is done between now and then. Cristiano Ronaldo reportedly wants out of Manchester United. He wants to be playing in the Champions League. And as we can see here, Sporting Lisbon are in Group D with Frankfurt, who are the Europa League champions, Tottenham with Antonio Conte, and Marseille, who did very well last year in Ligue 1. They have some of the Premier League older statesmen like Alexis Sanchez, and but they did lose Saliba, who was a big part of them last year, getting their position in Ligue 1. Obviously returning back to Arsenal from loan and performing extremely well, but we will get to Arsenal's performance today a little bit later. But what are your thoughts overall on Group D?
Group D, I'm not mad about it as a Tottenham fan. I think we lucked out. I mean, we could have gotten a lot of bad teams.
Yeah,
a lot of rough teams to play against, but I think we got a pretty solid chance to make it through the group.
Yeah, I saw this. I couldn't believe it.
To the point of Saliba, it just shows what loans can do for players.
Yeah, right. I mean, especially if they're done properly, they get enough playing time, and Marseille just seemed like the perfect spot for a 20-year-old Saliba to go over there and perform again. You know, Ligue 1 isn't the greatest league, but you have some top quality players throughout the league, and so to get that experience, it seems like he hasn't skipped a beat with Arsenal so far this season.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued if Ronaldo goes to Sporting. Maybe Sporting will make this group a little bit more interesting, but can you see anything but 6 victories for Tottenham in this?
6 victories? I don't know about that. But I do see us winning the group for sure. Yeah. And pretty easily. But I don't know about 6 victories. Maybe 5-1.
So, most of the English teams, it seems like, got groups where they are probably predicted to be the group winner, despite 3 of us coming out of pot 2. Chelsea grabbed Milan from pot 1. Liverpool grabbed Ajax from pot 1. And then you have Man City, who was in pot 1. Just to recap for those that don't understand how the draw works, basically there are 4 pots for the Champions League. Each group is comprised of 1 team from each of these 4 pots. They are randomly drawn together. The way that you enter into each one of these pots is all of the league winners from your top leagues in Europe automatically get into pot 1, along with the current champions, no matter what their league finish was of the Champions League. In this case, it's Real Madrid. They did win La Liga anyway, so And then the winners of the Europa League, which is why Tottenham is drawn with Frankfurt, because they are the Europa League champions, and you go to pot 1 for winning that competition. And pot 2, 3, and 4 are all determined based on your league positioning in all of the leagues across Europe, as well as the playoff. Like there's some playoffs between some of the lower league teams. If you win, some smaller league, then you have to play a playoff to get into the tournament. And then based on how well your team and your league has performed throughout history in the Champions League, you get a coefficient, and you can be placed in different pots based on that kind of stuff. And so when there's 4 pots, so then you randomly draw a team from each of those 4 pots. You cannot play anyone from your same league, which is why we'll see no English teams playing each other in the group stages here. And there's some travel restrictions between different kinds of countries. So those are also in place if those happen. Usually it's, something like Azerbaijan or, those kinds of things. But so that's kind of how the groups work here for the Champions League. Liverpool drawn with Ajax, Napoli, and Rangers back into the Champions League. Rangers are, and I am super excited to see Rangers Liverpool just for kind of the political, religious kind of stuff between a Scottish team and the English team. And those games seem to have just a little bit more edge when Scots take on the English. Steven Gerrard, obviously Liverpool legend, actually big reason why Rangers are in this competition after winning the Scottish League with Rangers, breaking Celtic's dominance in that competition. Celtic find themselves with Madrid, Leipzig, and Shakhtar Donetsk on the other hand. Not an easy group for them either. You see Real Madrid as a legit contender again in this competition, going for number 16, I think it is now.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can never count them out. And I think they're playing pretty well. I mean, we'll see what losing Casemiro does.
Yeah, very interesting to see that. But it seems like that new blood coming through in that midfield is something that can work for them. But the Champions League last year, we saw the older statesmen come down and kind of clean up the mess that the younger kids made, always trying to battle back and scoring late goals to keep advancing over Liverpool, over PSG, over Chelsea, and over Manchester City.
Yeah, Eduardo Camavinga, they're putting all their faith in him, because get rid of Casemiro, they must have thought 1 year with Casemiro, guiding him was enough, because I mean, I think he's only 19 or 20 years old, playing for arguably the biggest club in the universe. They're
throw in Tuchemeni really as well.
Yeah, he's really good, but he's only 20. So
they're
we'll see
very young. Yeah, never goes bad going with French midfielders, though, I must say. Chelsea drawn with AC Milan, Salzburg, and Dynamo Zagreb. Usually have a trouble traveling far, so maybe that Dynamo Zagreb might give an issue. But Thomas Tuchel has
2 years ago, Dynamo Zagreb gave Tottenham quite a bit of issues.
Yeah, away from home, it's harder to play, especially those later group stage games if you're playing away from them. We played Zenit last year, 3-3 draw. Reason why we ended up finishing second in the group last year behind Juve because of that draw. It's just it's harder. It's harder to travel midweek, go play in the cold, and play these teams who have nothing to lose usually.
Exactly.
But Thomas Tuchel has made the final every single competition as a Chelsea manager that he has been in, besides last year's Champions League, where he was minutes away from a 3-0 victory in the Bernabeu against the eventual champions Real Madrid. Chelsea had a poor start to this season, but you think Chelsea's still favored to top this group?
I think so. Tuchel wins. He finds a way to win. And I don't see any team here. I mean, Milan's a good team, but they're not Chelsea. They're not Chelsea.
Yeah. Sergio Dest, official today that he is moving from Barca to AC Milan. Yes. So that is a confirmed deal that is done, signed through, I think, 2027. So Sergio Dest, the American right back. Here on the webcast, we are going to, as we get closer and closer to November, especially next month in September, when the U.S. men's team take on have two games to kind of prep themselves, last minute prep for Qatar in November. We're going to be giving you all the previews, walking you through the World Cup format, walking you through the U.S. men's national team, getting you ready for this tournament in November that's going to put the whole world on pause. And if you are new to the sport, you love watching just the World Cups, we are here for it, and we want you to get into it. So tune in here at the webcast for everything U.S. men's soccer as we move forward and get closer to November. But Sergio Dest leaving Barcelona, going to Milan. Barcelona drew into Group C, of course, because they should have just penciled this in to start with, because Bayern is in Group C, and everybody needed to see Lewandowski play for Barcelona back at the Allianz Arena in Bayern after all of his comments to kind of force a move out this summer. So this we knew was going to happen, right? You knew this was going to happen.
Well, you had to.
You had to. So with Inter also thrown into this group.
Yeah, wow. That's a group of death situation there. That's a big one. I feel really bad for Victoria, whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Nice little Czech champions. This is the group of champions plus Barcelona, where you got the German champs, the Italy champs, the Czech Republic champs, and Barca. So definitely a crazy group when you compare to some of these other groups that have no league winners.
Well, and then this one has Italian champs in pot 3.
Yeah, exactly. So
and then you have Barcelona in pot 2. I mean, that just goes to show
the strength.
There's a lot of strength.
But do you see Barcelona last year finished in third in the Champions League, got pushed to the Europa League? Do you see that happening again this year? Obviously, probably Bayern are the favorites, but do you see that happening again?
Man, I do, because I think Barcelona has a lot of issues.
Yeah.
I think.
Wow, you heard it here. First prediction, Barca back to the Europa League. We're going to clip this one.
Yeah, they have a lot of issues. I think Inter is just a more solid team. I don't know.
All right.
Barca's got a lot of history, though, so they could always
see how. Yeah, we'll see how Lukaku does too, as well, back in Inter colors, playing in the Champions League. Speaking of teams returning to their old German stomping grounds, of course, City with Haaland, now 9 goals in 5 games in the Premier League for this guy behind me, is going back to Dortmund in a group that seems, pretty difficult on paper when you got the likes of Sevilla, Dortmund, and Copenhagen, who can be a little bit tricky away from home if you're traveling midweek. But do you see anything besides 6 wins for City on this one? And who do you got for second place between the other 3?
I see City and then Dortmund.
City and Dortmund. Yeah. I think that's one of the matchups I'm most excited about between these teams that are kind of second or third in a group, is that Sevilla Dortmund game. Home and away, I think, is going to be great. Haller playing with Dortmund now after lighting up the Champions League with Ajax last year.
Oh, he
was breaking records. So now he's at Dortmund. And so very intrigued to see how he will do as a Haaland replacement.
Well, then I definitely think that Dortmund's going to come out in second, because I think Haller's a good player.
Yeah, I mean, crazy. You go from West Ham to Ajax like that and just light up the Champions League like he did last year.
At West Ham.
Yeah, it seemed like he had flashes, the big bully kind of up front kind of mold of Lukaku or a Antonio kind of player. And but man, he really lit it up. We'll see if he can continue, especially in front of those fans. One of the best stadiums in the world. And then you got a group that looks like it should be better on paper, but I don't know that it is that great, is Group H: PSG, Juve, Benfica, and Halifa. I'm just going to say, I don't know how to pronounce that very well. So
Maccabi Haifa.
Yeah, who actually has a good European pedigree, actually, a couple European competitions. This isn't their first debut in the competition, but I don't know that anyone is predicting them to finish above 4th. But it seems, PSG, Juve seems like it would be good on paper. Pogba returns to Juve. PSG obviously stocking up with that front 3, but you think PSG will make easy work of this group?
I think so. They put it this way: if PSG doesn't make easy work of this group, then they need to rebuild. because they've been. I mean, they're just plagued in the Champions League. They cannot win the Champions League. They have one of the best teams ever assembled on paper, and they can't win a Champions League. Now, winning the French league is nothing. I mean, it doesn't even mean anything.
It's already they already won it.
Yeah,
was it 5 weeks in? Yeah, just give it to them.
Yeah. So, yeah, they need to win this. They need to win the Champions League. Not even in this group. I'm not even talking group.
The whole competition.
They need to, or else they need to make some changes.
Yeah. Well, here on the webcast, we love giving our predictions. We love doing our picks. For this, however, we will be saving our picks until the knockout stages of the competition, for when the layout is all there for us to see on whose side. Group stages usually don't have too much of wild cards. Usually the teams that you expect to finish. Maybe it's a switch in 1 and 2, but usually they advance. So we will be here covering it. We will be waiting, though, to give our picks until the new year, when the knockout stage of the tournament actually gets underway. But super exciting draw, a lot of exciting games to get to. So it's going to be great to cover that. That starts next Tuesday, September 6th, Wednesday, September 7th. So make sure you are following along with all of the Champions League games as well. The World Cup in November is going to throw this tournament for a loop a little bit, but the games are going to be coming thick and fast between now and then. So make sure you stay tuned.
Real quick,
other games.
What do you think the group that's going to be?
Yeah. I think you have to give it to Group C: Bayern, Barca, Inter. I think just because it's. I mean, I don't know if anyone really. I mean, Inter could maybe pull it off. Barca and Bayern seem like they are, kind of locks for the first two, but Inter on paper anyway. But Inter seems like maybe they could be that wild card, like you said, and push Barca down to third, maybe, or even if Bayern can't, replace the Lewandowski goals in the Champions League, then maybe Inter can take some points off Bayern as well. But I think it's Group C. Group G: City, Sevilla, Dortmund. I was going towards that for a little bit, but I just think City is just too good that it's really a place for a race for second. And I don't know that you can be considered a group of death if you know who's already going to advance, and City is already going to advance. So for that reason, I'm going to give it to Group C. You agree with that one?
Well, for that exact reason, I almost want to give it to B. Because
interesting. Okay.
Who's
going to win that group? Who do you got?
You can't say that Atleti is going to just win it automatically, because these are
especially now that Callum Hudson-Odoi is now a Bayer Leverkusen player on loan for the season from Chelsea, and he's obviously going to be scoring hat tricks in the Champions League now. So that he can return.
I like him.
That's a great point. I don't know. I mean, like, you could see, and I guess that's what makes a group of death. The team that you think could finish in first, you also wouldn't be shocked if they finish third. Would you be surprised if Porto tops the group and or finishes third? I don't know that I would be too surprised. Atleti, I guess, would probably be favored in this group. They haven't started off that great in La Liga, but that's an interesting one. Huh? Wow.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that wrench in there. That's a tough group for any of those teams.
Yeah,
they don't get an off week with even Group
pretty
A,
even.
They don't.
Yeah, with Liverpool playing the way that they're playing. Granted, they seem like a different animal in the Champions League, but the way that they're playing right now, Napoli could beat them, Ajax could beat them at home, and you lose those two away games and throw in a difficult Rangers game because Rangers are going to be up for Liverpool more than the other two, and now you're in trouble as a Liverpool.
That's what I mean.
Team.
There's just for Liverpool, there is no easy game.
Yeah, I mean, if they can play their best. Maybe not, but they usually struggle with Napoli as well. Historically, Liverpool.
I agree. The best group,
that's a good phrase.
Probably C as far as just talent, but group of death. I would not want to be in this group as one of these teams.
That's
tough because they're all even.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it as kind of from the team's perspective. I think you're right. The best group is Group C probably, but
Yeah.
the group of death, I think you've convinced me about Group B there. I mean,
All right.
I just don't know who's going to win that. I really don't.
That's what I mean. You don't know who's going to be first or fourth. I mean, you would assume Club Brugge is going to be fourth.
Yeah,
but
finish bottom.
I mean, I think they could take points off of Atletico at home.
Yeah,
they have to travel to Bruges.
Yep, with all the games coming thick and fast, you really don't know. But definitely stay tuned next week for all of the Champions League games. We will be recapping them every Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. We also had the Europa League draw. We're not going to go over that today, but for all you Arsenal and Manchester United fans, there you go. But speaking of Arsenal, today they took on a Newcastle team that signed Isak last week. They lost St. Maxima to an injury after his wonder goal against Wolves last week, where they arguably could have they arguably should have taken all 3 points from Molineux, but they traveled to Anfield, went a goal up early through Isak, and Liverpool kind of battled back a late stoppage winner. Wait, I just totally switched between Arsenal and Liverpool Newcastle. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we're on Liverpool Newcastle now, I guess. Newcastle signed Isak. Is that what I said earlier? I don't know. But and he got the goal against Liverpool today. And Liverpool, very, there's a lot of arguments about it, got 8 minutes of stoppage time after only being shown 5 minutes. And in the 8th minute of stoppage time, they scored their goal. There was a little moment with Pope, who went down at the beginning of extra time, but they extended it a whole extra 3 minutes for that, and Liverpool end up getting the winner there to save their blushes. But back to Arsenal, where I started this point, to take on Aston Villa today, and they go 1-up through Jesus. Then you have an Olympico from Luiz, straight from the corner kick, curls it nicely into the goal to make it 1-1 in the 73rd minute. Looks like Aston Villa might grab something. I personally think that was a foul. I am part of the goalkeepers union, but I think that was a foul. I don't know what your opinion on that one was.
Yeah, I mean, it can go both ways for me.
Yeah,
I didn't grow up playing soccer. I grew up playing football, and so to me, Ramsdale's huge, and he could have shrugged off his arms, and he could have done something. But in the world of soccer, yes, that is definitely a foul. You can't just hold back another player. I mean, if you hold back a player, you grab their shirt, it's a yellow. If they're running free. So the same thing when it comes to a goalkeeper. You can't impede him from doing what he's able to do. You gotta protect the goalkeepers. Their job's hard enough.
I totally agree with that, and I'm not just saying that as a previous goalkeeper. Maybe I am, but we saw against Leicester when Harvey Barnes kind of had his arm wrapped around Mendy from on that goal that was disallowed. This one seemed like a little bit lighter, especially with Ramsdale's hands over top of I don't know who was right in front of him, but I think the fact that he was grabbing him like this, holding Ramsdale off behind, had his arms wrapped around Ramsdale from behind and kind of pinning him against his back. I think it has to be called. It went to VAR. They reviewed it and they let the goal stand anyway. I have had an issue with VAR to start this season. I think VAR is great. It needs to be there, but it has to be used better. And you cannot be allowing these kinds of goals. Lucky enough for Arsenal, lucky enough for Arsenal, 3 minutes later, Martinelli gets on the score sheet yet again. Seems like those two, Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli, just keep Arsenal running smoothly. 15 points from 15. Are you starting to believe in Arsenal?
I'm starting to believe that I chose the right two Arsenal players for my fantasy team. That's for sure. But yes, I am. Unfortunately, as a Tottenham fan, nobody shun me. I am an Arsenal believer at this point in time.
Yeah.
I mean, we're waiting for them to prove us wrong, or you're saying that, oh, I think they're going to stumble. Well, are they proving you wrong yet? Because they're having these issues, like the goal that should have been disallowed, but it still came back, and then 3 minutes later, they fought through the adversity. And so when you're telling me that if something goes wrong, maybe they'll stumble. They haven't. They've been
that
fighting.
is exactly it. And so when I watched them in preseason, they were all electric, right? Flat, fluid, fast, ahead of everybody. And I thought it was great. Their interplay seemed like they've been playing with each other forever. It was great to watch, but I thought that other teams would catch up to that because it's just the amount of games that you get under your legs to help you kind of keep up with it. And Arsenal have passed, when they go through, that was their whole thing. They play well for one half of a season. I remember Ozil had 16 assists in the first half of the season, and then in the second half of the season had 3. So it's like that was Arsenal's whole thing. Can they put together a whole season, especially now that they have such a young group of players? Can they be consistent? Can they battle back from adversity? And we've seen so far that they have been doing that, especially in these last 2 games. Today, they were a little bit unlucky. It seemed like the ball was bouncing all over the place. Martinez didn't seem like he could hold on to it, but that's just because there's so many deflections. It was just going all over the place for Villa. They were scrambling to defend, and the ball just wouldn't go in for Arsenal. They get that, in my opinion, a bad VAR call go against them. And what do? 3 minutes later, they score. They've had injuries this week. Zinchenko's out. Partey's out. I think even El Neni got hurt. He played last week to take in Partey, and then he gets hurt. So injuries, some people will say they haven't played the hardest competition, but if anything, this first 5 weeks have shown you is that the Premier League is not a joke, and the bottom clubs, maybe minus Bournemouth, can put on a fight for most teams. And so, I mean, you got to respect it, and to be, even if you think that they're going to, not be able to sustain this, especially when they start playing 2 games a week, playing a Thursday, Sunday, playing some of the harder teams, they are 8 points ahead of Chelsea. They should have been 9 points ahead of Liverpool, but 7 points, I think it is now, ahead of Liverpool, and ahead of Tottenham and City by 3 point, or what is that? 2 points by City and 4 points by Tottenham, I think. Yep. Mm-hmm. So even if you cool off, you've given yourself a lead already on all of these teams. You'll see how United does tomorrow, and they could be. I mean, between their rivals for the top 4, United and Chelsea, maybe 8 points, ahead of both of those teams already after 5 games is a great start. So
that's huge.
Yeah,
because if they go to White Hart Lane and they draw against Tottenham, they're, maybe City would catch up, but then if they draw against City, as long as they're at least not losing to the big clubs, then they can keep that lead. Maybe that week, but then when City goes to Liverpool, that could be where they gain those 3 points back or 2 points back. You know what I mean? If City and Liverpool draw.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
as long as they're not losing to City, Tottenham, United, then I don't know, man. I think they got a good chance. Granted, it's only 5 games in, but they look really good.
They look great. And, defensively, even with a back 4 and Ben White still playing on that right-hand side, it's still been great. I mean, defensively, they've been sound. They can get goals. They can respond to adversity. But so it's been great to watch. We'll see this weekend. We'll be doing our picks for week 6 coming up here. We'll see what we decide for that interesting game on this weekend. What else? So we got here. So this is week 5. We started off with a great draw, Brentford and Palace. So we started off 1-1 to start off the week. And then we did pretty good. Not as great yesterday as we did today, but Brighton losing away to Fulham. That
was a shocker.
He just scores goals. I don't know what it is.
Stop.
but he just scores goals. And
and that I'm happy to see it, because the past few seasons that Fulham would come up and go down, come up and go down.
Yep.
He would only score, he'd start off kind of hot, or would maybe end the season well, and he'd score, 11, 13 goals, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now he has 4, 5?
Yeah.
Something like that.
4.
So
yeah, he's up there. 4 or 5 for sure. I think maybe 4.
He's showing some consistency, and if he can continue with that, then Fulham will be, hopefully fighting to stay out of relegation.
Yeah, I mean, right now sitting on 2 wins and 2 draws, they're ahead of Chelsea in the standings right now. So
I mean, to beat Brighton, we're both very high on Brighton.
Yes, very high on Brighton.
So to beat Brighton is a big accomplishment for a lower team like that.
Yep. Yeah, newly promoted to go even at home to beat Brighton, who was undefeated, to start the season after 4 games.
Good team.
Yep, great team. And this game, all righty, let's talk about this game here. So I said that on Monday, for some reason, we always concede goals. I think I even used the number 2 that we would concede 2 goals to Southampton. And what do? We don't only concede 2 goals, but we play with a back 4. If I see another back 4 with this current group of players, I will slam my head through a window. We can't play a back 4. We can't do it. You could see it from the start of the game. We have a problem, especially as Reece James was out for this game. Okay. Just a precautionary. He has been our player of the season thus far. Sterling is now picking up fire, and, 3 goals in 2 games. Absolutely fantastic. He is getting on the score sheet, which is what he's, been brought in to do, however that is. And so he's going up there, but Reece James has been, in my opinion, our best player to start the season.
By far.
And he was out, fine, whatever. And I get it makes it tougher. But we play with a back 4 with a 31-year-old, a 37-year-old, and a 32-year-old. Okay, in a back 4. It's not that they aren't experienced and they're not good. And Koulibaly is even quick. He's quick. He's a quick 31-year-old. I don't know that anyone would call him slow, but we aren't used to playing in a back 4. You could see that we were just not handling runners very well. We were not handling second balls at all. I mean, the fact that, one of the goals that got cut back, we had Azpilicueta, Koulibaly, and Thiago Silva all run towards the inside of the inside of the 6, and nobody was marking the cutback at all. And Shea Adams, was it? I think it was, who scored. He can touch the ball, look up, and have 5 yards of space. Yeah, I was like, how in the world is this? And it's not like Shea Adams is quick either, but so we're giving him all of this space. So we can't play with a back 4. It's not possible. We don't have the personnel for it. We need to be playing a back 3, back 5 really. And we just can't do it. We are too slow, especially when we don't have Conte. When you have Jorginho, the thing about Jorginho, he is great until he gets tired. And as he gets older, he gets tired quicker. And as we don't have as much cover, Kovacic has been out, Conte has, he's injured, and he's playing more, he gets tired quicker. And when he gets tired, he makes mistakes. It's just what he does. He just makes mistakes. He's on the ball too much. He plays the same way no matter, and he's just slower. And so we lose the ball, and we can't recover when he loses the ball in a back 4. We can't do it. We've never been able to do it. I don't know why we play a back 4. It doesn't make any sense to me. Havertz and Mount.
You cannot play a back 4 without Conte. It's impossible.
No.
Because he is that third center back for you guys when you need him.
Yeah.
Or he just patrols the middle of the field so well that nobody can get by on him. And if they do, it gives Silva and Koulibaly enough time to make up the ground. But nobody just outruns Conte. He's all over the place. So without him, you have to play a back 5.
We have to. And that's the thing. We have the biggest issue that Chelsea has ever had. I'm not of this opinion. I'm probably the few. But everyone says that we have to score more goals. And yes, is it better to score more goals? Obviously. But I don't think we need to score more goals. And the reason why I say that is because the reason why we got this badge, winning the Champions League, winning the Club World Cup thereafter, is because we were defensive and no one could score. That was the way that we played. So we played that way. We had a great system. We had the system that fit our personnel, and you just couldn't score unless you were West Brom. 5 goals to West Brom. But anyway,
I remember that game.
Yeah,
that was a good game to watch.
It was ridiculous. But that is the way we need to play because we do not have the attacking power. If everyone thinks that our entire attacking front line, minus maybe Sterling at this point, is terrible, adding another one to the lineup isn't going to make us magically score more goals. It's just going to allow us to concede more. And in the Leeds game, we had enough chances. Again, that game, I think, was a spell of 4 minutes where 4 minutes to start the game, we should have been up 2-0. 4 minutes to end the first half, we were down 2-0. And I think that was the whole thing. But even in that game, we had enough chances to win that game. In this game, we would have had enough chances. I mean, we did have enough chances to score more goals, but we just conceded because we cannot play a back four at all. And we look like completely disjointed. And someone needs to tell me why we are playing with a fluid front three. Why, after 10 minutes of the game, I was seeing Sterling on the right-hand side. After the 20 minutes of the game, I was seeing Sterling up top. After 35 minutes of the game, I was seeing Sterling back on the left-hand side. And it just kept switching until we went to a back five. I don't understand the fluidity of it. It makes us look like a headless chicken. We can't transition from attack. I mean, there was one point where we win the ball back and we go to move forward. And I think Havertz, Mount, and Sterling are all on one half of the field together.
Yeah,
and it's like,
that's why I don't agree with that.
What are we doing here? And if we play with a back five, we know how to play it. We have the structure. As soon as we went to the back five in the last 20 minutes, granted, we didn't really create that many chances, and arguably Southampton should have scored a third. At least Sterling was on the left-hand side. Havertz was up top. And, then we got rid of Mount, who seems kind of like a passenger to start the season. We got, then we started, Ziyech came in and all that stuff. But I just don't get it. This game was so frustrating to watch. And I am hoping that this weekend we play West Ham. I'm very Fofana signed officially today. So I am intrigued to see if he goes straight into the lineup, not having played the last 2 games for Leicester. So we don't know how his training has been. We don't know how his fitness has been with not playing games the last 2 games for Leicester. So I'm really intrigued, but it better be a back three. If it's not a back three, I'm going to cry.
It's going to be.
That's it. That's all I got to say about that one.
That's why they brought in Fofana. So if somebody gets injured or what have you, they'll always have a back three.
We should. Okay, that's the thing, right? So Thomas Tuchel even said in an interview that if we're playing with a back four, Cucurella and Chilwell are fighting for one position. If we're playing in a back three, then Cucurella and Chilwell are fighting for 2 positions. And the reason why is because Cucurella can play is a really kind of as either a left back, as a left center back, or as a left wing back. And right. So that's the way that Thomas Tuchel views Cucurella. Chilwell can either play as a left back or a left wing back, but he is never going to be playing as a left center back. So based on whoever's injured or what have you, we should be able, no matter what, with Chalobah, Azpilicueta, Chilwell, basically, with those 3 players, we should be able to always be playing a back, and even if you throw in Loftus-Cheek on top of that with those 4 players,
because he plays
should be playing. Yeah, because Azpilicueta can actually play
the right-sided center back.
The right side, and he actually started off as a left side. So,
really?
Back in the day when, so he could actually play left-sided. I don't know why, maybe not as comfortable. I was wondering that last year, why we didn't push him back over there a couple of times because Chilwell was out for 6 months last year. I don't know why we kept playing Alonso and we could have pushed him over there. But Reece James needs to be playing as a right wing back. Right center back needs to either be Azpilicueta or Fofana, and Chalobah can go there as well. Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, Chalobah in those, middle and left center. Cucurella as well, left center. Chilwell left back. Cucurella left back. left wing back.
Yeah.
And that is what we need to be playing game in, game out, week in, week out, get that solidified. And, we need to work on the midfield because we are old and decrepit in there. Kovacic is either hurt, Conte is either hurt. Both of them are either hurt. Jorginho's just getting older. And Conor Gallagher obviously needs to, I don't know what he needs to do. He's young and he's just, I think he's trying too hard. He needs to
he's
chill
just
out
young.
a little
He's
bit.
trying to prove himself. He wants to start every game.
Yeah.
And he just needs to realize that you got Jorginho, Kovacic, and Conte. You're not going to start every game.
No.
So when you get your chances, do what Mason Mount does, or has been doing in the past few years. He just plays his game. Obviously, this year he hasn't been as great, but Chelsea as a whole have kind of felt a little odd. They felt off.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly know that Chelsea's going to figure it out, and they're going to bring it back. They're going to figure out their system, whether it's 3 up top, 2 up top, 5 in the back, 4 in the back, which we all know it's 5 in the back. They're going to figure it out. Conte is going to get healthy. I mean, he seems like he's injured.
Well, it's really interesting because I don't know. There might be a war between now and November between the French national team and Chelsea, because I'm very intrigued to see how they both handle this injury that he has. He's going to be out for a while. It's going to be approaching November by the time he starts getting back into training. If I'm France, this is probably his last World Cup where he'll be a starter if he's healthy, just as he gets older.
Which he'll be healthy.
Yeah, and he's going to be approaching getting healthy by then, and so I don't know. They're going to get mad if he's brought back too early. But then again, if you're Chelsea, he's your player. You pay him, and we need him. I mean, you just need him. You can't go without one of the best players in the world for a long period of time and expect to have the same level of success as if you did with him. So, well, we shall see. Anyway, my rant is over. Spent way too long on that game.
Let's move this on.
Everton Leeds. This one, so we went here with we picked the Leeds win here just with Everton. Anthony Gordon makes it 2-2 for him.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's set to stay with Everton. Leeds battle back there, 1-1. Who do you think is in a better position after 5 weeks, Everton or Leeds?
Leeds,
I don't know
by far.
Yeah, Leeds by far. Yep. Wolves, Bournemouth. Man, I thought for sure Wolves were going to go in there, get their first victory, but the team that can't be beaten, or not can't be beaten, but it's hard to break down, but also inept in front of goal, continues to tie. 3 draws on the season already, and get the draw on the South Coast. So we were wrong again there. Bad
Who
day
stays in a better
yesterday.
position between these two?
Bournemouth is going down. They're playing games for fun now, just to show their fans that they play.
But they actually enjoy soccer.
Okay, well, here you go. So Scott Parker fired, first manager sacked as Bournemouth. We'll see who they bring in. They have an interim, right? They just promoted someone from within to be the interim. And we'll see who they can bring in. If they bring in a Sean Dyche, previously Burnley specialists, defensive and keeping them afloat, working great with the team that they had for all those years, putting in some great performances, some
Old
great
faithful,
wins.
4-4-2.
Yeah, just hard-nosed, defensive.
They were a hustle to every ball type team.
Yeah.
Very gritty. It
wasn't
never
an
gave
easy
up.
game against
No,
Burnley.
they
Never
just
an easy
gave
game.
up.
And if they can get someone like that, do you think that could turn around, give them a little bit of hope, or you still think they're going down?
I think it would help, but like I said on our first show, they have the same team that they had like 3 years ago when they were in the Premier League. Like all the same players. They just finally, got promoted from the championship, but they really haven't added anybody. Just the players
and where the goal's going to come from.
Yeah, just the players that were younger are a little older, but the players that were already older are even older. So I don't think they have a chance. It doesn't matter who their coach is. I mean, you could put Tuchel or Klopp or whoever, and I don't think it makes a difference because they don't have the team.
They just don't have the talent. Yeah, I totally agree. Especially Solanke, I think, scored 20-something% of their goals last year in the championship. And I don't know that he's off the mark yet after 5 games. So to rely on one player to score your goals and is not scoring like Mitrovic is, it's kind of the difference. But Wolves still without a win to start the season, but we'll see how they move forward. Next, we have Arsenal versus Villa, which was today. We've recapped that game a bit. Great 5 wins there off on the bounce for them. They are high flying.
What I'm shocked about is Villa has 4 losses.
Yes, it's not. They played some close games, but they just cannot. They cannot get points. They cannot pick up points. I feel
really dumb about persuading you to put them in into
Hey, 7. The talent that they have, they should be performing well. And the thing is, I had faith in Steven Gerrard after coming into the league last year and doing pretty well with Villa.
Yeah.
Getting some good signings as well. I thought that they would definitely be better off than they are now. So they just have a good team, and it's very surprising that they, have picked up 3 points so far this season.
Yeah.
Holland picks up goals more than teams pick up points.
Welcome to the league. Welcome to the league, Nottingham.
9. Oh yeah, I know. Poor Dean Henderson. My guy, Dean Henderson. Poor guy.
Man.
It's because he wasn't wearing the hat today. It was too dark. Put him in a late afternoon game. Puts on the hat, and it's over. No one's got a chance. I mean, this was just not even a game. Holland, first half hat trick. He had a second half hat trick last week. So if you're counting at home, that is 6 goals or a double hat trick in 90 minutes. Absolutely incredible. He's just on another planet, and he will continue. He already has 9 goals after 5 games. And it's not like they played Forest this week, but they've played some pretty decent teams so far to start the season. There's no way that this is going to slow down or stop. And I just don't see how the Golden Boot record, what is it, 32, 33 goals in the season is going to stand. I was just going
to ask. He was your Golden Boot. He's your Golden Boot winner. Yeah. And do you think he scores 40?
Yeah. The question is, do I think he's more likely to score 40 or 30? Because he's scoring over 30. I mean, he's breaking the record. I don't think he can. Now, pace, injury barring,
unless
right?
he gets hurt, barring. Yes.
Yeah. He's not part of the World Cup. Yeah, he's not in the World Cup. He's going to get a couple weeks off. He's going to rest more. He's going to get integrated more, working with Pep in those weeks when there's no Premier League action, and there's no stopping the guy. There's no stop. No, none. I mean, at the pace he's at now, I mean, he's going to break it by the 20 game mark. He's going to break the record.
The pace he's at now, he's going to beat Messi's calendar year 100 goals.
Oh, whoa. I don't know about that.
In 5 games. Are you kidding me? He's on a good pace.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Messi got 92 games in the calendar year. 92 goals in the calendar year. He was averaging a goal every 3 days. Messi was. So let's see. It's been what? The season started August 4th. So it's been 21 days, and he scored 9 goals in 21 days. So 28 days, 24 days. So 9 goals in 24 days. Yeah, math, right? So that's slightly better than a goal every 3 days. So he's currently, you're right. He's on pace.
That's what I mean.
To beat it.
I don't know. Yeah. But he's not going to play in the World Cup, so that's going to ruin his chances. Yeah, because he's not going to be playing any games when Messi's going to be in every single one of them.
Yeah, that's crazy. So this one, I haven't watched this one back yet. I'm excited to watch it because I really am intrigued to see how Spurs played this one. But what are your thoughts about dropped points away to West Ham?
Yeah, I was also unable to watch this game. I'm going to probably watch it after this podcast. Yeah. We didn't even score. It was an own goal. So
I did see that. I'm
curious to see how bad we looked, because this is not good news, because we need to beat West Ham. We need to beat the West Hams, the Palace, the Brightons, the Aston Villas. We need to beat those teams if we want to get to that next level. Yeah. We can't draw to West Ham. Yeah. So I'm not super happy. I'm curious to see how we went about it. I'm curious to see how Son did, because he's been playing pretty poorly so far.
So That's exactly it. I'm intrigued to see. I don't even know the lineups. I have seen a clip though of the own goal. In my opinion, they should just credit it to Son because I don't know if you've seen it, but the way it is, Harry Kane plays it across the inside of the six. The goalie, is out of the picture at this point. It's going back post, and the defender slides in front of Son as Son slides, and the ball just hits the defender first. It would have hit Son on the back, on the butt, on his knee, on his shin, on his foot. It was impossible that the ball wasn't going in if the defender was just removed from the equation. So, in my all purposes, it should be a goal for Son. But yeah, just like you, I'm intrigued to see how this is. The way that Tottenham started off the season, I feel like you guys have probably had about 50% of your overall game, like time-wise, has been played well, and 50% have been poor. And it's just, how did this one look? I'm very intrigued. But
just disjointed, we don't look like we know what our plan is.
Yeah,
it's not like are we going to attack? Are we defensive? We
Yeah,
don't.
the timing.
It's not like we're a counter team right now. We set up as we should be a counter-attacking team, but then when we get the ball, we don't have 3 or 4 players just taking off down the field. We have Kulusevski, and then he's sprinting past whoever, and he has nobody to play it to because nobody else is running with him.
Yeah,
and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, you saw that with the possession that you gave Nottingham Forest last week, and you could see that that's what you're trying to do. It's just whether or not you can execute it and be devastating like previous Conte teams have been. But we did get this one right with a draw, so we started turning a corner here as we move on to today's game. Like I said, earlier today when I was mixing up Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, all of them, Liverpool get a late winner to beat Newcastle. Newcastle, though, just continue to put on what seems to be good displays. I wasn't able to watch this one either. Dang working schedules, But so I'm excited to kind of see how Newcastle played and how Liverpool played. But Liverpool pick up all 3 points here, and we do start improving as we go through today's action.
To be honest, I'm less interested to how Liverpool played as I am to watch Newcastle.
Yeah.
Because
it's exciting times there on Toon's side up there.
To bring in Isak, I wanted Tottenham to sign him to replace Harry Kane eventually.
Yeah, it seemed like he was linked to so many top 6 teams.
Yeah, like if he played with Harry Kane, or you even play Kane behind him as a number 10, and that's what I've been dreaming of, is having somebody play with Kane. Son and Kane were doing well, but it was never really like a 2 up top with Son and Kane, which I've been hoping for this entire time, but we just keep buying wingers instead of, and so I'm like, that's never going to happen in my wildest dreams. But I would love to see Kane with somebody else up top and then have a number 10 behind them. And I think if you have Son and Kane, they play well off each other already, and then you had a number 10 behind him, and you don't make Harry Kane the number 10, and he always is dropping back. He needs to be the guy sprinting forward on the counters.
Yeah.
But that's just not how we play. We have him hitting the long ball because we don't have that number 6 like a Pogba or like how Eriksen used to do, where they could just switch it. That we don't have that player anymore, so now Kane has to be that player.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest with you, if you could get some consistent, if Son can return form and you get, I don't know, for Richarlison will start more as the season goes on, or just because he's quicker and probably better on the ball than Kulusevski. Kane being able to win that ball, maybe when you're in your defensive shape to win that ball, he is capable of playing those kinds of balls onto them. And so I think that could be very beneficial if you guys can get the system up and running really well. But yeah, Kane through on goal is, 9 times out of 10 is going to be a goal. So you would obviously want him on the other end. But
the only way I see that working is if we went to like a 4-3-3 and you had Kane.
Yeah, not going to with Conte.
It was kind of like 4 up top because you have Kane playing as like the center forward.
Yeah,
and he'll drop back, but he's not going to really do defensive duties, But that's the only way I could see it working, because we could have the 3 up top and play Richarlison as the 9. and then have Kane facilitate to them. I could see that working, but that's the only way because Son and Kulusevski, they're not just all-out goal scorers. They're more of the playmakers. They're just not. It's not what they're meant for.
Yeah, and I don't know with a back four with Dyer in there. I think he needs to be playing in the back three. Yeah,
it's like a Chelsea situation. We are not built for a back four.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
All right, what else we got here on the picks? So tomorrow's game, we haven't locked this one in yet. United travel to Leicester City. United back-to-back wins. Leicester City finally get rid of Fofana. Finally know what team they're kind of gonna move in to the season with once the window closes tomorrow. You think United, as I picked here on Monday, are going to take all 3 points?
I do. Okay. I think Leicester's in a bad spot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if James Maddison left.
Wow, by tomorrow.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
Tielemans is rumored to maybe leave. We know Brendan Rodgers has stated publicly that he doesn't rate him very highly. There's a lot of top 6 teams circling him, but with the money that they've gotten for Fofana, they're not going to be budging on the price for Tielemans. So it's just a matter of fact if somebody pays for him. But James Maddison, if he leaves as well, that I think would be a detriment to Leicester City season. There's no way they're going to bring someone in that time, and I just think that that's going to not be something that they can recover from.
Yeah, if he leaves, then they're relegation battle.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe that. They've already dropped 3 games. They have one point in 4. That's not good. That's not good at all.
Yeah. All right, but that concludes. So tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, United face off against Leicester City, and that's going to complete week 5 of these picks here. We currently are 5 out of 9 for this week. We are 21-18 overall, so still in the win column. Again, please make your account and pick along with us. But here we go into week 6 here. Liverpool traveling right across town to Everton, Merseyside derby. This is the big one. Everton's still looking for a win. They continuously drop leads. You got Liverpool after battling back against Newcastle, destroying Bournemouth, but not really playing well to start the season. Do you have them picking up all 3 points here?
I do.
I think Everton's just not good enough.
Everton's bad.
Anthony
Gordon may score, but that's it. Just one goal.
That's it. Yeah.
That's all they can
Liverpool. Get. All right. I agree with that. I think you have to go Liverpool. It's just at some point they got to, they're like a car that won't start. It clicks and then it duds a little bit. So maybe this was the dud, but eventually it'll turn on and start humming.
Yeah,
so
something's got to give eventually.
But it's very intriguing. If you drop points, if Everton can pick up all 3 points, man, Liverpool, I think we may need to rethink our hopes for them this season. Leeds travel to Brentford. For this one, Brentford, I think last week, they picked up a draw against Crystal Palace. Now they return home to play Leeds. What do you got for this one?
This is a tough one. Brentford's a solid team to play at home.
Yeah.
But I think I like Leeds a lot. I like the way they play, so I think my bias wants them to win this game.
America.
But I think this could be a draw.
A draw? All right. Well, so here's my thing about Leeds. I think they start quick. I think they are energized, and I think that's dying down a little bit, sadly. And I love Tyler Adams, and I love Aronson, and I love Jesse Marsh representing the U.S. Leeds performing great to start the season. 2 wins and 2 draws. I think they drew last weekend. I'm already forgetting. We just went over all these games. and
I know, so many games.
But I actually think Brentford's going to take all 3 points on this one.
I can be persuaded to that. I don't think Leeds is playing as well as they were against Chelsea or, like you're saying, the first few games, they looked dynamic. They looked really good. And they're starting to die off. They're what you thought Arsenal was going to do.
Yeah, I must say I have to take a little bit on the chin with Arsenal because they've been doing, I thought they would start the season well. 5 games ended, I think it would still be going and they would have these character changes. No, so I will take the L on that one. Crystal Palace. Patrick Vieira playing well. Zaha on fire. Will he leave by tomorrow? Probably not, but maybe he will. Traveling to Newcastle, who just seem to be great at home. This one is a great one for the weekend.
This is going to be game of the weekend. This
Yeah,
is the one
you
to
think so?
watch. Yeah, this is the one to watch because these are two middle of the table teams, but they're not going to play like they're middle of the table teams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are going to be some good.
Hey, those are fighting words. Calling Palace and Newcastle middle of the table this season. They've been playing great.
I mean. But if we go off of the past few years, these are mid-table teams.
Yeah,
but they're not playing like it. They're playing like they want to get some European places. So if we're going with me, I have a really hard time saying that Crystal Palace is going to lose. But I think Newcastle is going to take it.
Yeah. See, I agree. For me, it's like, okay, Crystal Palace have been playing extremely well on the road. Yeah. It seems like they just play well. They played great first half last week. They're going against City, and that's just it's City. What are you going to do? They played well. Liverpool. Yeah, they played well. They played really well against Liverpool. City. Yeah, exactly. It's just City. They played really well against Liverpool, earned their point away at Anfield. They played against Arsenal. Now, granted, Crystal Palace to start the season, that first game against Arsenal, their preseason for Crystal Palace, half of their team traveled to Australia and half of the team stayed at home. They were disjointed at half. They look like they've been playing better and better as the games have been going on. So I agree. I don't see Palace losing, but they're going away to Newcastle. And Newcastle plays well at home. So if there was
a solid team, they're really starting to gain some traction together. It's crazy.
Very well. And I can be persuaded for a Newcastle win. I am leaning more towards a draw on this one, but I can be persuaded against Newcastle win if that's what you think.
Yeah, let's go with a draw. Let's go with a draw because I don't. More or less because I want this to be a draw. Because both teams are so good, I don't want them to drop 3 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Neither of them so far the way they've played.
Yeah, Newcastle at home though, it's a hard task.
Yeah, but like you said, Palace away is something about it. They play well.
Yep. Oh, it's beautiful, Doug. It's beautiful. You know why this is beautiful? Because there's a 3 p.m. England kickoff at the City Ground. And we are going to see Dean Henderson with his cap on. I'm hoping for it. And if the cap is on, Bournemouth are not scoring. It is over. Mark it up. Nottingham Forest, 3 points. Nice and easy. No goals for Bournemouth as well. If that is a side prop bet, I am taking that all days of the week. Dean Henderson.
This will be a 3-0.
All day. Yeah, I agree. Perfect. All right. Another London derby here. Fulham take on Tottenham. Can Tottenham bounce back, pick up all 3 points? Fulham obviously taking down Brighton in London, not traveling far these last couple of weeks. Mitrovic, who's going to upset him now? He's going to score. What do you got for this one?
I would love to say Tottenham's going to fly by easily, but I just don't know. Mitrovic, we're decent defensively when that's what we're playing as, but Mitrovic he's a problem. I mean, he's a serious problem. So I think Tottenham are going to win, but I think it's going to be a really close game.
Yeah, I have
like 2-1 or
I don't think Fulham. So I agree with you. And I'm a big fan of Mitrovic. I love his celebration as well. But Tottenham, for me, I think they're going to be comfortable defensively. I don't see much of, I think they can handle a Mitrovic type. I think they struggle a little bit more with like more creative or speed types. And so I think they won't have much trouble. And I think eventually at home, Kane's going to get on the score sheet maybe once, maybe twice. And I think Tottenham overall will look kind of comfortable, even if they don't play well, and pick up all 3 points.
Yeah, my problem isn't necessarily Mitrovic's speed, it's his finishing, because Pereira is going to cause the problems for us.
Yeah, he's been great to start the season. What a great
Pereira is
pickup
going to
that
cause
was.
us big problems because if he plays on the
Well,
left, if he plays on the left, which I think he does, uh, Emerson Royale is an absolute liability on defense. So if
that's the
he,
point of the back five, though.
that's what I mean.
Play
It's
with
gonna be
cover.
rough. So
Yeah.
but I think we'll make it happen. But I think Pereira is going to be a problem.
This one I think is super interesting, and I've run with this for the last 3 weeks, and I've been wrong every single time. But this is the week that Wolves get the first win. I'm telling you, it's got to be. Southampton played well. They deserved all 3 points against Chelsea. Definitely so. They've been turning it around. That goal from I'm going to mess up his name, Lavia, their 18-year-old, their first goal, senior goal in the Premier League. Hats off to him against Chelsea. And I probably should have given Southampton more credit in my rant, but I was too upset about the way that we played. And I think they'll play great, but Wolves, they're hard to break down. They're even harder to break down when they're at home. They need a win. They've been close the last couple of weeks. They still played pretty well. I think it's just gonna fall. And I think this is the time that it falls for them.
I agree.
All right, there we go. Now we move on to the evening kickoff.
Poor Aston Villa.
Okay, so I think from here on out, we don't need to talk about who's going to win. I think the more fun thing to talk about is how many goals are Haaland going to score. So for me personally, I think. Do you think his hat trick continues? No, I don't think so. I don't think his hat trick streak continues, even though he has already scored the same number of hat tricks as Hazard did in his time in the Premier League, as Mane did in his time in the Premier League. So he is just a phenom. I'm going with 1 goal against Villa.
I am. Yep, 1 goal.
1 goal. Okay.
And De Bruyne gets 1 as well.
And De Bruyne, didn't start today's game. De Bruyne, nice and rested now for Villa. So watch out for that one.
They're going to blow him out the water on this one.
All right, there we go. And that pushes us into Sunday's games. Leicester, who play tomorrow, Thursday, will play again away to Brighton after taking on Manchester United at home. And they will be playing Sunday. It'll be interesting to see how they play tomorrow. 65% have Leicester. Yeah, this is interesting there. I think you and I are more heavy on Brighton.
Absolutely not on board with that pick.
Yeah, all right, let's go. So Brighton will be taking all 3 points here from our pick on the webcast. I think, we'll see how they play tomorrow, but I agree. London derby once again. I mean, with all the teams that come from London that are playing the Premier League, it seems like it's going to be a weekly occurrence. West Ham travel to Chelsea on Sunday. Man,
what do you got? I'll let you start on this one.
All right. So, thing about West Ham is we struggle away to West Ham. I'm always worried when we play away to West Ham, and you've been the bubbles. You've been following, but way back in the day, Upton Park was really fear the bubbles. You could see it because they didn't have such a big stadium and a big difference. Like the stands went all the way up to the field, right? So when the camera was showing, you could see all the bubbles and the noise was kind of kept in. It was just crazy atmosphere. And so it was even harder to play then. But so even from those days, it always seems like an intense environment to go and play. At home, we've been much better against West Ham. Reece James will be coming back. We'll see if Fofana plays. We're going to be playing with a back 3. I think that's going to help us a lot in terms of conceding. So it's just whether or not we can score. Oh man, but
these are tough, aren't they? These are getting harder.
I can't. We have to bounce back. So because of that, we have to bounce back, and I have to give Chelsea all 3 points. We can't. We can't allow, even if it's tied in the 80th minute, we cannot allow that to be an okay result, and we have to go for it. So I think for that reason, Chelsea's going to have to go. Yeah. All right, here we go, though. The big one on Sunday. Here we go. Some consider this Arsenal's first, big challenge. Manchester United travel to Leicester this week, but they will be returning home to take on Arsenal on Sunday. So Arsenal play today at home, We'll travel to United on Sunday. United play tomorrow away to Leicester, and we'll travel or play at home against Arsenal on Sunday. But who do you got for this one?
I got Arsenal.
You got Arsenal. It's very hard to go against them.
I know, since they've dropped Harry Maguire from the starting 11, they've looked better on defense.
More energized, I would say.
Yeah, they look better. They look more sound.
Yep.
Whatever they've been doing, Casemiro's, getting integrated in.
Casemiro, totally forgot about him. Yeah.
It'll be tough, but I think Arsenal's too quick.
Yeah.
I think they're too quick. Martinez is good. Defensively, he was a great signing for them, for United, but I don't know. Varane is really solid, but he's getting older. Can he handle the speed of Saka, Jesus, and Martinelli, and even Odegaard? Can he handle that speed? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
that's a lot to ask.
Yep, I totally agree, and I would not be surprised. I think the fact that this game's at Old Trafford is the reason that I would lean towards a draw on this one.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very intrigued to see, because I believe this is because they played away to Southampton and now away to Leicester. So this is their first game back at home since Liverpool.
Right.
And they were, celebrated for the win there, but there's been protests before those games every single time for Glazers out. I'm very intrigued to see how the fans respond after this being their first home game and it being, top of the league Arsenal. It's really intrigued to see how they're going to handle that. It is a quick turnaround for them, but I would lean draw on this one. But man, I think it's going to be fireworks either way.
Here's my thoughts. If United lose to Leicester or draw to Leicester, I think Arsenal win.
Okay.
If they win against Leicester, I think it could be a draw or a United win, because they're going to be on a
continue the form.
Win. They're going to be on a 3-game win. They're going to be on a high. Their fans are going to be going wild. It's going to be less of the Glazer out, and it's going to be more of come on United.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a pivotal game tomorrow for United, and they really need it right now to go against Arsenal. I can go with a draw. I can be on board with that. I mean, eventually, Fernandez is going to start figuring it out and getting back into form. Sancho is going to start getting into form. Rashford seems like he's starting to come back. After his injury last year, he's starting to come back into form.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Sancho this year. I think
he's been playing
finally confident. Yeah, getting confidence back. Yeah,
he looks more at home. He looks more like he did at Dortmund, where he wants the ball.
That's a good way to put it.
Like he didn't want the ball. He was kind of
He was too scared
to get rid of it. He didn't want to do anything wrong. He's been the move was.
It's a big move for an English player
for 3 years,
half his lifetime.
So once he finally got it, he was just really nervous about it. But now he seems more at home and he wants the ball.
We have a prediction here from Jacob. Jesus double hat trick against United at Old Trafford. What a way to introduce yourself to old. Well, not introduce is not the right word there at all, because but wow, that would be incredible. Here's a question for you, Jacob. Do you think Haaland will score a double hat trick in any game this season? So that's a question for you to answer there. I want it to happen so bad.
I want it to happen so bad. Has it ever happened?
Berbatov got 5. That's the most for Manchester United back in 2007. His response to that was nah, but he'll get 5. Yes, 5 seems. Aguero's gotten 5 against Newcastle. I think every time he's played Newcastle. And Berbatov got 5. I think against Fulham. As he said here, Aguero got 5. I think against Newcastle. I'm intrigued to see when City's already played Bournemouth and they've already played Forest, so I don't know who they can play to get 5, but that'll be interesting. Southampton, hey,
or United 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, true. Or if Liverpool lose this weekend, maybe to Everton.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, Friday, we have our first college football episode, predominant college football episode here on the webcast. We will be doing our predictions, our college football playoff predictions. We're going to be predicting who we think is going to be in the top 4. We're going to be discussing Notre Dame versus Ohio State, one of the marquee matchups of week 1. We're going to have our first guest on the show as well. So that will be fun to get his opinions on everything. So tune in Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern for our college football analysis. Enjoy the Premier League games tomorrow and this weekend as well. And until next time, have a good day and we'll see you.
See you guys.